Alright, this LEGO set is now selling for $850, so I'm going to be pretty nitpicky here and there, so just take a grain of salt with some of the things that I critique on. If anyone's paying a lot of money for this LEGO set, you would ensure that you're getting your money's worth. So this is the set 75313 Ultimate Collector Series AT-AT Walker. Has 6,785 pieces, and it has a total of 9 minifigures. You get your 4 snowtroopers, 1 commander snowtrooper, 2 AT-AT pilots, General Veers, and then Luke Skywalker. The first small nitpicky thing, I don't know how or why LEGO keeps repeating this mistake of Luke Skywalker having his black hands when he's actually wearing white gloves in the film. Although this is a very easy fix, it is still kind of annoying. I do plan on making modifications to this set in the near future, so if this video gets enough likes, I'll make another video about that. LEGO seems to be running a kind of theme with their boxes where they want to make them look more modern by adding a black background and then a little glow effect behind the model. While I do think this is effective, I still think it would be cool to have a Hoth background instead of this glowing background, just like they did on the Millennium Falcon and the Imperial Star Destroyer. I think that was at LEGO's top peak for the graphic design on the boxes. Nevertheless, I wouldn't change anything else about the other sides of the box. I think it's really cool that there's different angles, so there's a back, there's a front, there's a top, and then you could even see the feet at the bottom. Now, the unboxing experience for this set is on a different level. It delivers. You get this immersion that you're the rebel that is looking through the binoculars on this AT-AT, and then when you take those binoculars out and open the flaps on the box, then you get to see the full scale of the 3 walkers. They're all in separate boxes, and there's details on every single side of this box, from the footprints of the walker to the parts of the assembly that you can start on. I really like how they separate the instructions to the coordinated boxes so you can have more than one person build this set with you. The building experience was great. I got to build this with my girlfriend, so there was not one part where we were bored of building this set. There's always something that kept us entertained, having a nice balance and combination between building the bricks and the Technic pieces. We actually started debating which one was more fun to build, the legs or the chassis and the head. Here you got the plaque for the AT-AT full of its fun facts and information. I don't know who came up with this number of 60 kilometers per hour as its top speed. I had to fact check LEGO on this, and yeah, apparently there's a lot of sources that says that this is 60 kilometers per hour as its top speed. I don't know what to believe in anymore. This plaque also comes in useful for a place where you could put the screw behind. That way it has a place where you could put the screw back after you're done bending the joints. Now let's talk about the thing as to why it took LEGO so long to release this Ultimate Collector set. The most noticeably inaccurate part of this LEGO set is how thick the legs are. I think this is exceptional. I'm sure if LEGO really didn't have a care in the world, they definitely could have made thinner legs and sacrificed that structural integrity for the details, but I'm sure there would be a lot more fans upset on thin legs that keep falling apart on them than what we have now. Besides, name me a giant mock set, if not bigger than this set, that is just as durable, that people don't have much anxiety for moving this thing around, especially with the thin legs. And name me a mock set that has posable legs. This sci-fi behemoth is no easy task to bring back to life, especially since the proportions of having skinny legs holding a top-heavy body is nearly impossible to handle. I think if someone was actually going to build this in real life 1-to-1 scale, the legs would be just as thick as this model. Now, I do think there are some questionable choices the designers made. I specifically want to point out the joints of the walker and then the side. It just seems a little inconsistent between the studs showing and studs not showing on the upper joints and then the knee joints of the walker. The upper joints of the walker are a little more extruded, it looks like. I was hoping to get more of an illusion on the axles spinning inside the walker. you kind of have this bar and then a cylinder that's all in part of one, and then you kind of have an extrusion cut. But instead, we just have an extrusion on the bar specifically, which makes it feel a little off. I'd be intrigued to see if LEGO could do a printed or a sticker on these axles, kind of like what they did with the motorized AT-AT Walker. These flaps next to the legs are pretty accurate to the actual model. The only downside is it's very fragile and easy to pop off. And again, I plan on modifying this, so if this video gets enough likes, I'll do a video on that. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is what makes this Ultimate Collector set stand out from all the other ones that we've had in the past decade. People have been asking for more and more over the years, and LEGO finally delivered. This has got to be the closest to minifig scale, most screen accurate and detailed AT-AT Walker from both the outside and the inside. Yes, LEGO made a full entire interior. Let's not forget that. Not to mention, they nailed the interior's details to the T compared to the blueprints of the AT-AT Walker. I don't think it gets any better than this. Now, there are plenty of different ways you can make access to the interior. One of the ways is there is a little door cargo that can actually open for the troopers to harpoon their way out or jump off, I guess. Now, from my personal experience, it's a hit or miss on the doors staying up. One of them is pretty good at staying up. The other one kind of lowers down over time because gravity. You can also open up the panels like doors to make access. Or better yet, you could take the whole panel off and make full access into the interior. Just keep in mind when you want to take it off to open the back panel so it doesn't interfere with that gray slot, because it will pop off if you lift it up with the back panel closed. You can also remove the top panels very easily. Putting everything back on is easy as butter, and it does a pretty darn good job in keeping those gaps closed. Now, keeping the gaps closed on the head is a little bit trickier and more noticeable, but there is a way of doing it without having to sacrifice adding extra parts or putting rubber bands on them. So what you have to do, from my experience, is you have to lift both sides of the cheeks a little and then push them both inwards, and then you'll hear a little click, and then that should be able to close the gaps better and keep it in shape. To access the interior of the head, you can pick up the viewport and lift it up. Now keep in mind you have to keep your hand up. Another way to access the interior is if you lift the back flap of the head and then just simply lift up the cheek side, and then that will give you exposure to the interior as well. This head is being held up, or I guess you could say being sagged down a little by these 4 beams. I am very curious how this will hold up over time, but I kind of like that it's pointed more downwards. It makes more sense, because if the AT-AT is attacking people on ground, it's got to point a little more downwards, so it's a nice little piece of detail. The lower turrets do alternate when you move them, as if there's recoil action going on with the blasters, and you can tilt the side turrets. You could move the head physically with your hands, or you can also access the top panel of the cargo, and there is a little controlled Technic knob that allows you to move the head. I don't know if this was an intentional design, but it seemed to work in their own benefit really well. When you move the head right and left, it doesn't just move side to side, it also kind of rotates the head in the process, so it gives it a very nice fluid movement, and I really like it. Now, going into the cargo, this has a whopping 40 seats for the troopers, not to mention they have a blaster holder that they could put them into. Same for the AT-AT pilots. It has 2 fuel tanks contained with canisters inside, and there's lots of big stickers in this set. One for the fancy door Imperial kind of style, to the viewport for the AT-AT pilot showing the shield generators. Oh, and before I forget, this holds a total of 4 speeder bikes. Now, it only comes with 2, but what if I told you the instructions for the Walker on building the speeder bikes are incorrect? because the instructions on the Walker has the handles pointed outwards where the minifigure can't grab them, whereas the Snowtrooper Battle Pack actually shows the instructions where the handles are inwards, which is the correct way for the minifigures to get a grasp of it. So just keep that in mind if you ever plan on building this set. Also, this set comes with an E-web and a couple of exposed bricks that are different color than gray that kind of stand out in the set that probably shouldn't be there, but they are there. There's a lot more I would like to cover in this video in terms of this set, but this video is starting to get long, and I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of other reviews on what people have said about this set, so I don't want to be too repetitive. I really just wanted to give a different side of reviewing this LEGO set. And I'm sure you're probably here for the burning question, the title of this video: is this worth $850? By the time I'm recording this, LEGO has increased the price on a good chunk of their LEGO sets. This one being one of them, or its original MSRP was $800, now it is $850. So the short answer is, if you're a huge LEGO Star Wars fan that loves collecting these big sets, or if you really like the AT-AT Walker, it's one of your favorite ground vehicles of all sci-fi or just in the Star Wars franchise, then I would say, despite its flaws that I would consider pretty minor, this would make a fine addition to your collection. There are definitely a lot of nitpicky things I can make on this, but this is mainly because, you know, if, again, it's $850 now, so the expectation should be a little bit higher. And the other thing is the AT-AT Walker is actually one of my favorites, so I know the design very well. But obviously, if you don't think this is worth $850, then put your money where your mouth is. There's a lot of other places you could buy this for cheaper. You just have to be really careful. Obviously, there's places you could look on for eBay or on Facebook Market, other third-party markets. Like I said, you just got to be careful. Or if you want to play it really safe, just buy them when they go on for sale. I know it's pretty rare for LEGO to go on sale on some of their big sets, but it is possible. We've seen it on the Falcon. It will probably happen with this one in the near future. You just have to be very patient. I wouldn't put it past me if this would go on a discount a couple of times. I think LEGO's goal is to basically make this the next big UCS set and ultimately cover for the Millennium Falcon when that set retires. Now, if you guys are all in consecutive agreement that this set is too expensive, then if you just keep buying this for when it's cheaper and you don't buy it for its retail price, eventually it'll affect LEGO sales and it might go down. Do I ever see this happening though? No, I'm gonna be honest, it's probably not gonna happen. I remember when this set was announced for Black Friday and it was going to be selling at MSRP for $800. A lot of people were complaining how expensive it already is and how it doesn't match the price to piece ratio compared to the Falcon. I do think its full interior kind of makes up for that and all of its other features, but that was what a lot of people were complaining about. Yeah, you want to know how much of a difference that made in the comments versus how much they actually made off of you guys? 0. There were 40 of these bad boys at the LEGO store in my area, and you want to know how much they had at the end of the day? 0. You'd be surprised how many fans are willing to spend for big sets like these. They're willing to spend a lot. But if you guys want to hit them where it hurts, hit them with your wallet, and who knows? May happen. I doubt it will, but it could. It could happen. It's just, y'all got to put your mind to it. But that's my verdict for the 75313 Ultimate Collector Series AT-AT Walker. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Personally, for me, the AT-AT is one of my favorite sci-fi walkers, and I really like it. Despite some of its designer flaws, which I do plan on modifying it. And like I said, if this gets enough views, if you guys really like this video, then I'll do a follow-up showing what I modified on this set that's a little more screen accurate, in my opinion. So stick around for that if that ever happens. And yeah, see you guys then.